It's 7 o'clock right now. We have got Sarah Colonna on the show. Lots to talk about this morning, Sarah. For one, you're to put it into perspective for everybody so they can place you, you're on Chelsea Lately often as one of the...
Yeah, Chelsea Lately, a writer and a comic on the show, and After Lately, which is our, spin-off of the show.
Exactly. That's their way of saying, like, hey, this is going really, really well. We need another show from you.
Yeah, let's do something else. Let's capitalize on this while people care. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Thank God.
And also, though, aside from the Chelsea stuff, you've got a book out, Life as I Blow It, Tales of Life, Love, and Sex, not necessarily in that order. You've got the book out, and then
Never
also...
in that order, is it?
Yeah, of course not. And then also NBC has actually ordered a show, right?
Yeah, well, it's with Happy Madison, which is Adam Sandler's production company, and... Sony we're developing a show together based on the book, and in the book, of course, we wouldn't know this, but in the book, I grew up in Arkansas, which is all true. It's all true stories, and I moved to Los Angeles when I was 21. So there's lots of stories about that. And the show idea, though, would be that I would stay in Arkansas and be, in your mid 30s and not married and not having kids and sort of living this non-traditional life in a place that most people live a very traditional life. Mm-hmm. So, which is also what the book is about in general, just me trying to figure that out. How everyone else I grew up with is married with kids and all this stuff, and I'm kind of like, wait, hold on, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, what's my path? It's cool too for people, especially people here in Montana. I think the book will really be relatable because it's kind of a similar, Arkansas, obviously different area of the country, but kind of the same feel as here in Billings. A lot of people just stick around and kind of, get married and have kids and screw up their lives, and, it's different for people that want something more. So I'm sure it's probably relatable.
Yeah, and definitely. And, and obviously either way you go, it's whatever makes you happy. So it's, if you want to have kids and get married, and which is a great choice, obviously.
That's not making anybody
happy. But when
happy.
You don't, it's a very challenging atmosphere because people are always asking you, like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you're like, well, I'm doing it, I thought. But then you start to question yourself, like, am I not doing it right? Am I supposed to be doing something else? Exactly. And I think it is relatable. I think everyone can relate to also the idea of, like, even if you do, get married and have kids and all that, or if you don't, like, that idea of what the grass is greener on the other side, like, which way should you go? So,
exactly.
And then when you're single and whatnot, and everyone else is married and having kids and happy, you're kind of like, oh, maybe I should have done that. So it's it's that back and forth of which one do you want.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about Chelsea for a bit here. How'd you get your gig there? Have you and Chelsea been friends? Did she see you doing stand-up? How'd you get intertwined into that world?
We actually started doing stand-up together around the same time when we were both in our 20s, like 21, 22, I think it was. And so I've known her for a really long time, yeah, and we've been friends, and she, we have a little bit of a similar sensibility. So, she having me on the show as a comic at first was the idea, and then when I started doing the show regularly, they were like, oh, you can really, probably write well for her as well. So I got to hire full time, which is great.
Yeah,
it's a great job.
Dream come true, I'm sure, especially on the show. Just doing so well. I'm sure in Hollywood, getting a gig is just awesome. It's like, cool, I get regular work and, I know where my money's coming from, but especially on a show that's just doing so well. And just killing it.
Yeah, and, and that's the thing, like, talk about, work, like, I bartended for 13 years. I had, some, I would get jobs and I would get stand-up gigs and I would get, like, small parts on TV shows, and I would work on bad hidden camera shows, and I would do these. But you could never quit your quote-unquote night job because it was, never steady. You never knew, so you always had to keep that job. And, I used to have to call hotels and make fake reservations for, like, these amazing hotels where I was living in a tiny one-bedroom with no air conditioning, and I was like, oh, my God, it sounds so nice there. And I would be, like, a secret shopper on these on these phone calls. I had so many. Like, at one point, I had, like, 5 jobs at once. I was like, this is terrible. So I'm very grateful to have a steady gig, and like you said, one that's going well.
Yes. I saw that just recently you were on the show with Ben Glebe. He was just up in our studio here a few weeks ago because he performed here in Billings.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
I like Ben a lot.
Yes.
I'd like to just make fun of him right now just to do it, but I can't. He's the best. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
And we were on a Monday night together.
Yes, he had a ton of good stories and nothing but love for Chelsea, and said she got him a PS3 for Christmas and all sorts of nice stuff.
She gave us all one. And at first I was like, I don't know. I actually said out loud that I was like, I guess maybe I should just give this to someone because I don't know what to do with the PS3. And everybody was like, are you insane? You can use it for smart TV. I was like, I didn't know you could use it for your TV or whatever. So I still haven't hooked it up, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, exactly. Just to give it a shot for sure. So the book,
I'll start playing with that thing right away.
Exactly. When are we going to know about the TV show? What's happening with that? Is that months off, years off? Who knows?
I don't. It's just kind of in development, and I'm hoping by this summer. I think it was. NBC was interested, but they have a lot going on over there, so they didn't pick it up to shoot it this pilot season. But Happy Madison and Sony are still on board to just try to sell it somewhere else.
That's cool.
My fingers are crossed that I think it'll sell somewhere. I think it's relatable, and
Are you going to play yourself? Do you play yourself in the show?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. You need that.
Yeah,
That's a good move.
That's the goal.
Do you get to work with?
And I don't think it's definitely one of those shows that you want the person to be in their 30s and not all of a sudden make it about some 21-year-old because then it doesn't make any sense. It's like no, you have to be struggling in your 30s to understand what the story is.
Yeah. Do you get to work with Adam Sandler since you're working with Happy Madison, or is it so big now that it's like it's his company, but there's plenty of other people to handle the work?
It's definitely a big enough company that he's got other people handling it. But I got to meet him, and he's very hands-on in the sense that he knows what projects are and stuff. But I haven't gotten to sit down and work with him directly on it. But I did get to go to his Christmas party, which was pretty exciting.
Oh, I love it. And last thing here, what's your take on the Chelsea Handler Joan Rivers battle there? Are you picking sides, or is it just overblown in your opinion?
No, I think honestly that Chelsea was just kind of off the cuff saying something, and I think at the end of the day, Chelsea has a lot of respect for Joan Rivers in the sense of what she has done for female comedians during her time. And then I just think it all got blown out of proportion, to be honest with you.
That's kind of what I think, because I heard both sides. I heard the full interviews of both, and it kind of seemed like, totally blown out of proportion. They each took it to the next level. It's like, I think you both probably have respect for one another. Come on.
Yeah, I think they do, and I think I don't think you really, honestly, sometimes I don't really think you fight with people unless it is somebody that you respect or get your feelings hurt by them talking about you because you respect them and want them to like you, and I think that's what happened on both ends there.
I agree. Sarah Colonna, the new book, Life as I Blow It, Tales of Life, Love, and Sex, not necessarily in that order. Go out and pick up the book. Very funny, very relatable, especially to us here, and then keep your eyes open for the TV show, possibly. And, of course, check her out on Chelsea Lately and After Chelsea. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being on the show. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.